Jealous of what? Your ugly leopard pants?
No. Wait. Sutton, come here for a second.
Did the Toms have a bromance breakup, major housewife feuds, and a bombshell in Tom and Erika's legal troubles? Hey guys, welcome back to another shared news from home. It's my favorite day of the week, our weekly Bravo recaps. We have lots to discuss, but as always, if you're new here, make sure you ring the bell and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out on any future tea, because you know we always have it. As always, I'm your host, Morgan Wright, joined by the wonderful Zachary Reality. Zach, we have a lot to get into today. How excited are you?
I'm so excited to talk about Beverly Hills because we finally had the leather pants scene between Sutton and Crystal. And I'm also really looking forward to break down the Real Housewives of Potomac trailer today because we know that the premiere is coming on Sunday. So there are a lot of fun things to discuss.
All very exciting, but we want to start with some drama that happened on social media this past week. We're going to start with Tom Schwartz and Tom Sandoval. Did they have a bromance breakup? Because some of their posts on Instagram seem to be alluding. Let's start with the picture that started it all. This one from Tom Sandoval. We know Vanderpump Rules is currently filming, but sometimes we can get some clues as to what feuds we'll see on the show through social media. So Tom posted this photo with Brock Davies, who is Sheena's baby daddy, a new cast member on Vanderpump Rules. And this latest Instagram war has some people worried the Toms might be headed for a friendship split. The picture, as you can see, is Tom and Brock. The caption reads, "Real friends don't leave you hanging." Now, it's the hashtags that are interesting, Zach. It says hashtag new bestie, out with the old, in with the new partners, partners in crime. So all very cryptic hashtags. What did you think of this photo?
I think that there might be some trouble in paradise between the iconic duo that is Tom, but I also feel like there is a lot of humor in here because it is too obvious. If the feud was that deep, I don't think he would take it to social media. I think he's just trying to give us a little hint that they might get into it a little bit on Vanderpump Rules this upcoming season, and they want to get fans excited about the show. So I think it's more of that situation, and I don't think the feud is that deep or that serious. I think they're just kind of messing with us. But either way, this is juicy because we love the Toms. They have been an iconic duo for 8 seasons now. So I'm so curious to what is going on.
Right. When you first see this picture, everybody assumes that it's about Tom Schwartz, especially when it says, out with the old, in with the new. It's just all very shady. And, Tom Schwartz, we never really see him get into social media drama, but Schwartz didn't have to post anything because it was actually James Kennedy who started to stir the pot even more with his Instagram post. James Kennedy posted a photo of himself and Tom Schwartz that said the next real duo. Now, you might not think anything of that, but when you get deep into the comments, Katie Maloney says, "I love a mess." And James Kennedy said on the photo himself, "If you're confused about this post, go peep Sandoval's last," with a crying emoji and the eyes emoji. So James Kennedy calls Sandoval out by name. What did you make of this?
Well, I'm glad that Schwartzy has James Kennedy. So if Brock and Sandoval are this new duo, at least Schwartzy has a friend, a partner in crime, if they are doing a little switcheroo. But you can tell by Katie's comment, you can tell by James' comment that this is all in good fun. I don't think it runs that deep. But like I mentioned earlier, it's all going to play out on next season of Vanderpump Rules. And they're really trying to get us hyped up and excited about this season because it has almost been 2 years since the last season. So a Tom feud could really get a lot of viewers reinterested in the show because everyone loves a messy feud.
I mean, even Katie Maloney Schwartz loves a mess. She said it in the comments. And something that I did notice is if Katie is commenting on James's post, I feel like that's when you know that, things might be shifting because Katie and James had a very long history of not getting along. I mean, for seasons and seasons, these two did not have a good track record. And for her to comment and for Schwartz to be on the post, it just does feel like maybe there's a shakeup at Vanderpump Rules. But, amidst all of this drama, whether they're just doing it to get us talking like we are now, Schwartz did give some love to Sandoval on his stories for Tom Sandoval's birthday, posting some photos of them together in their first conversations on Craigslist when they were getting ready to move in together. So it seems like all may be well. But Zach, do you think that we could ever really survive a Tom breakup? I could never. I would be absolutely devastated. Schwartz and Sandoval are my favorite Bravo bromance. What are your thoughts?
I know that they are, and I love Tom too. They could never break up. They have a restaurant together. They're partners. There is money invested. It is called Tom for a reason. It's not called Tom Brock. It's not called James Tom. It is called Tom. So no, we could never survive without Tom and Tom together. And I'm glad that Katie and James also kind of made amends. You mentioned that they did have this long history and this long feud. And we do have to celebrate James Kennedy is 2 years sober. So he really has gotten his life around. And I think with a lot of the OGs leaving the Vanderpump Rules cast, Katie and Tom Schwartz, they really don't have an option but to integrate with some of the new members. And I know James has been around for a while, but he still is part of the new generation. He is about 5-6 years younger than a lot of the OGs, and he kind of bridges the gap between the OGs and the really newbies like Charlie and a few other new cast members we will see. So lots of exciting drama and new friendships coming to Vanderpump Rules. We don't have a premiere date yet, Morgan, but I think it's going to air sometime in the late fall.
I know. I cannot wait. And I too want to echo your sentiments of huge congratulations to James Kennedy on celebrating 2 years sober. He did get engaged to Raquel too. And he just does really seem like he's on the up and up. When we last saw James, he was finally kind of turning the corner. So to see him really a glow up, James Kennedy had a glow up, and I'm absolutely here for it. Can't wait to see the show. I know. I'm like counting down the days.
And the engagement.
We don't have. Yeah, and the engagement. We don't have a premiere date, like you said, but hopefully late fall. But that's not the only drama we saw on social media. Zach, you have more about a feud between Heather Dubrow and Kelly Dodd from the Real Housewives of Orange County. What was going down with this on Instagram?
Oh my gosh, Morgan, this got messy because Heather Dubrow demanded a public apology from Kelly Dodd over implications that she got COVID from her son. So things are not looking good for Kelly Dodd, as not only has she been fired from the Real Houses of Orange County, but called out by the woman who is replacing her. Former housewife Heather Dubrow is making her comeback to the RHOC this season, and she sent Kelly Dodd a cease and desist, forcing her to apologize for slandering Heather and her family's name after Kelly publicly accused the Dubrow family of spreading COVID to Kelly at a party in the OC. We have a clip from Kelly's Instagram story. Kelly posted the entire thing on her story, her entire apology. Is it real or is it not real? Let's take a look at this clip and then break it down, Morgan.
So I got this letter from an attorney from the Dubrow family reminding me I made a statement that made sound like truth when in fact it was a joke. And for that, I'm offering my sincere apology. I did get COVID at a party New Year's Eve, and Heather Dubrow's son and his friends were all there. And while I had information leading us all to believe we could have gotten COVID from them, because we all, like 24 of us, got COVID that night, we obviously have no way of proving or knowing for sure he or his friends were the source of our infection. And for that, I apologize. I'm going on the record right now to be very clear. Rick and I don't know how we caught the virus. And we're both very, very sorry for any trouble we caused the Dubrow family. We hope you can accept our sincere apology.
We hope you can accept our sincere apology. Now, I don't know if it's just the way Kelly talks, but you just can't take her seriously. How sincere was this apology?
I think there was 0.00% sincerity in this apology. And had she not got that letter from attorneys, we would have never seen this. I'm not sure if it's a cease and desist or what exactly it is. I can't help but laugh because it's just so Kelly Dodd. And look, I know super spreader events is not funny. Like, that's not what I'm laughing at, but just this is so typical Kelly. And I think it adds a whole nother layer onto it when Kelly has to apologize to her replacement on the next season of The Real Housewives of Orange County, because Kelly did not want to get off that show. So I just think it's so funny, and I'm not gonna lie to you, I would love to see this play out on my TV screen. I mean, I feel like whatever you want to say about Kelly, I know a lot of people are happy that she's gone. A lot of people aren't happy that she's gone. I'm kind of indifferent, but I would have loved to seen this feud on OC.
Oh, 100%. I do believe that Heather kind of told Bravo that she would not come back if Kelly was there, but I also know that that doesn't necessarily work. I think Kelly was fired for multiple reasons, but I'm actually really sad that she's leaving the show because look at this Instagram video. Kelly is hilarious. I could not stop laughing the entire time. She is so funny. You love to hate her, which means that you love to watch her. She is so interesting and hilarious because she's so awful. Like, she truly is awful, and she totally threw herself under the bus in this fake apology, if it's fake or sincere, because she admitted that she went to a party with 24 people and it was a super spreader party. So it's like Kelly really always sticks her foot in her mouth, and this is karma. I mean, Kelly did not take COVID seriously, so of course she was bound to get the virus. She was jet setting all around the country during the midst of the pandemic. She mocked Black Lives Matter. She mocks the LGBTQ community. So Kelly was obviously fired for multiple reasons. And this just goes to show that Kelly is ridiculous and a nuts job. And she just can't take any accountability. And we need to just move on from Kelly Dodd and talk about the Real Housewives of New York City. So let's kind of get into the tension that is going on between Ramona and Ebony on this trip to Salem, Massachusetts. The feud between Ramona and Ebony has been centered around race all season, and Ebony has been trying to educate the fellow white ladies on her cast about the important topics like white fragility and microaggressions. Whenever Ebony brings up the topics, Ramona shuts it down and refuses to listen or engage. Ramona and some of the other ladies feel like Ebony is being too preachy and that she doesn't know how to have fun. But Ebony feels that it's her diligence as the first Black cast member to not let Ramona's ignorance slide on the Real Housewives of New York City. Morgan, what are your thoughts? I know you've been watching Rahoney all season. Are you siding more with Ebony? Do you feel like Ramona has a point? Where do you kind of stand on this?
Yeah, I feel like Ebony has been a great addition. I mean, she can stick it to Ramona like really nobody else that I've seen before. I mean, Leah does stand up to Ramona, but nobody else really has in the past seasons of The Real Housewives of New York. So I'm loving that Ebony is not backing down from her. And it's like the perfect way to describe what's happening, because it's like Sonja's been saying, which first of all, I absolutely am obsessed with the friendship between Sonja and Ebony. I think that is just such like a ray of sunshine in this season that's been like a little off from our normal New York seasons. I will say that I think the perfect way that they put it was when Leah said, Ramona can't understand these conversations. She barely knows the English language, which is like what's shady of her to say, but it's so true. Like, Ramona genuinely does not get it. And you have to remember that this is Ebony's very first season. She's the very first Black Housewives on the New York City franchise. So maybe what we're seeing is her overcompensating, but this is her life mission. This is her life work. This is who Ebony is. So to her point, she's like, look, this is who I am. This is what I'm passionate about. This is what I do. So if you can't get on board with it, then I can't allow myself to kick back, relax, and have fun with you, because I have to get through all this really serious stuff first to figure out if we can have a friendship. And that just goes straight over Ramona's head, because all she wants to do is drink and party and have fun and make out with random guys in the Hamptons. I just feel like they speak totally different languages and they're never going to be on the same page.
I couldn't have said it better myself. Ramona literally just wants to make out with random guys in the Hamptons. I also just don't want to make excuses for Ramona that she doesn't know the English dictionary or that she's this or that. I mean, Ramona likes to play dumb when she is put in uncomfortable situations. And Ramona does not go outside of her bubble. She does not open herself up. I'm really surprised that she was able to bring on Bershin as a friend of someone who is part of, the Black community, someone who is part of a different culture, because Ramona is as ignorant as they come. I mean, she's so ridiculous and frustrating to watch because she just doesn't know how to take any accountability, kind of like Kelly Dodd. And Ramona doesn't know how to listen to anyone else that doesn't agree with her. Ramona is like so egotistical. You have to fuel her ego constantly. So I am very frustrated for Ebony. I also do agree with you that she feels the pressure of being the first Black housewife on this cast, especially because last year when they were filming was the height of Black Lives Matter. So of course Ebony feels this obligation to call out Ramona Singer, who has been ignorant and has shown white fragility on Real Housewives of New York City for a very long time. So I am definitely on Team Ebony's side. But now that the other ladies are kind of getting involved, like Luann and Sonia, I get where they're all coming from because Ebony has been doing a lot. I don't want to say she's too preachy because I respect, her trying to educate the ladies, but I just don't know if it's going to get through to them. Maybe if she doesn't try and shove it down their throat as much, and maybe if it's more natural and over time. Ebony just met the girls. So I kind of feel like Ebony needs to just let it die down a little bit, let it simmer. Bershin is just coming into the group midway through this season. So maybe kind of see how that situation plays out, and then she can kind of act accordingly. What do you think of Bershin, Morgan? Do you like her? Do you understand friendship with Ramona?
I do like her a lot. I think her story about overcoming cancer is really amazing. And it's like, you don't think about those things unless it has affected your life or unless you're watching someone and feel connected to somebody who's gone through that. And it does put things into perspective. Like, even when I'm watching her on The Real Housewives of New York, I've never met her, I don't know her. But when I hear her story, I'm like, oh, I need to stop worrying about like if I'm going to be on time to my appointment at 3:00. You know what I mean? So I do like hearing those stories from her. I don't think her and Ebony are really going to get along, which I think is why her and Ramona do get along, because they're just very different people. But I am excited that she's in the mix.
Yeah, I'm really liking Bershin a lot. I think she's really fun and vibrant, and she's adding a lot to the show already. The Real Houses of New York City obviously needed another housewife or friend of after Heather Thompson kind of left the show midway through this season after her blow up with Leah. So they needed someone like Bershin because Rahoney is kind of going down in ratings. It's not necessarily everyone's favorite franchise these days, but you know whose franchise is still everyone's favorite, Morgan? Real Beverly Hills.
Real Housewives of Beverly Hills.
They always stay on top. They're always so fabulous. I personally prefer Wednesday nights over Tuesday nights, but I'm still loving Rahoney. So we have to talk about Beverly Hills, though, because a lot went down between Crystal and Sutton. They are still fighting about the same thing from Lake Tahoe about 5 episodes ago, I want to say. Like, Morgan, they literally cannot stop. And the feud sparked up again at Lisa Rinna's house when they were celebrating Garcelle's birthday. Sutton initially got upset because she was the only one that didn't get Garcelle a birthday gift, and she started to tear up. And when Kyle asked what was wrong, Sutton said that she didn't feel comfortable sitting at the table with someone she doesn't like. Sutton stormed off to the bar while all the girls tried to calm her down, and nothing was working. Crystal then realized Sutton was upset, but refused to apologize for feeling the way she felt. This is when Crystal called Sutton jealous and set her off big time. And then Sutton said her famous line, which we have been waiting for. I'm going to use Sutton's accent. Jealous of what? Your ugly leather pants?
Jealous of what? Your ugly leather pants?
No. Wait. Sutton, come here for a second.
Was that good, Morgan? Can you do a better Sutton
so
accent?
Good. Absolutely not. You nailed it. I'm impressed.
Okay. Are you Team Sutton or Team Crystal? Where do you stand on this argument? Can you believe we're still talking about this?
I mean, doesn't it kind of feel like a Puppygate 2.0, but this time it's like Violate Gate?
Well, everything on Beverly Hills gets dragged out more than any other franchise. Like, whenever there's a fight, they literally drag it out the entire season. Remember Brandy and Denise? You just mentioned Puppygate. Like, they're notorious for dragging out their fights.
And you know who I think is behind that all is one Kyle Richards. I think Kyle Richards knows how to stir the pot behind the scenes to kind of keep us talking about it, and then on camera kind of, shies away. But that's a conspiracy theory for another day. Zach, I've talked to you about this before because it still rings true. Every episode of Beverly Hills that we watch, I switch whose team I'm on. Last time I was on Team Sutton. This time I'm on Team Crystal, because at this point it's like, okay, Sutton, you got to grow up, man. Like, it's just way too far now. And I really don't think that her breakdown at the party had anything to do with Crystal. I think she was embarrassed. She was the only one that forgot to bring a present because, Sutton is a gift giver. And when everybody else had a gift for Garcelle at the table but her, I think that really kind of shook her and made her embarrassed that maybe she missed the memo. And I think it was easier for her to revert back to her feud with Crystal because at that point, like nothing was happening between Sutton and Crystal. Like they agreed to let it go. And at the end of the day, Crystal is standing by her feelings. And I actually respect that. At first I was like, oh, violated is like a bit of a strong word. It's not like Sutton did it on accident. But the more that I think about it, it's like, okay, well, Crystal didn't like Sutton anyways. Crystal has been open about some of her issues with eating disorders and, her issues with her body. So it's like when you put those together, maybe a stranger that you don't like seeing you, accidentally nude could be very triggering to somebody who struggles with those types of situations. So I feel like Sutton, you have got to just let it go. You can't be having these outbursts. And it's exactly what Garcelle said. Sutton is more, I don't know what the word she used, emotional or
Eccentric.
whatever than her
Fragile.
teenage boys. Like it just you
Hormonal.
got to let it go at some point.
Yeah, hormonal is the word Garcelle used, and that is the
Yes.
perfect way to describe Sutton. I mean, she's just going crazy for no reason. I think she was upset that she didn't get Garcelle a gift, like you mentioned. I also do agree with you. I think that Kyle kind of stirs the pot, and I think that's how she's been able to manage to be the queen bee, the center diamond holder for 10 plus years, because she's so good with everyone. She's friends with everyone, and she manages to kind of stir the pot under the scenes. And I also think Kathy Hilton kind of instigated the situation, because as soon as Sutton got to Lisa's Rinna's house, she was kind of like, hi, Thomasella, or whatever Kathy calls Sutton, which was kind of like a little bit of an instigating mood to get under Sutton's skin. So I think that they know what they're doing to kind of put the attention on other housewives so that they can kind of stay under the radar, Kyle and Kathy. But I am 100% on the same page with you. I am team Crystal. I feel like Crystal really stands in her truth. She didn't bring it up. She's moved on. And her pants are not that ugly. Like, her leather pants are literally not that ugly. Do you think her pants are that ugly? Like, what was Sutton going for when she said that?
The key word there, Zach, is not that ugly. I mean, do I think they're cute?
Oh.
Not really. But I also don't think what Sutton was wearing was cute either. What did she have? Like some kind of cheetah on her dress or something? I'm sure it was worth like $6,000. So Sutton probably thinks that it was fabulous. But no, I didn't think they were that ugly. But I'm glad that Sutton thought so, because that line will live in just iconic Beverly Hills moments forever. And I do agree with you. I think maybe even Kyle's giving Kathy some tips behind the scenes on how to keep things moving. I don't know. Speaking of behind the scenes, we got to get into Erika Jayne's latest legal bombshell. And this did not happen on the show, but it sent shockwaves through the internet because a judge has ruled that Tom Girardi's victims can go after Erika Jayne for settlement payments. Now, let's get into this Girardi files. I like to call it the legality of it all. A judge has ruled that former clients of the attorney, including the ones, Zach, that we saw in the documentary, The Housewife and the Hustler, specifically Joseph, who was injured in the San Bruno gas pipeline explosion in 2010, they will be allowed to collect the money that Tom owes them from Erika Jayne. According to court docs obtained by People, the family can pursue a collections lawsuit against Erika for the $11 million they are owed from Thomas for a settlement he got them in 2013. What a bombshell. And I mean, this is what they were trying to avoid with their divorce, if it was, in fact, a fraudulent divorce. I mean, just craziness. What did you think when this headline dropped?
Yeah, Erika, she is in trouble. Watching The Housewife and The Hustler, I noticed that Erika's name was on a lot of documents. She was listed as like a secretary. And we also know that Tom was transferring all of this money that he kind of didn't give the victims to Erika's business funds. So I think it was only a matter of time before these victims came after Erika. Erika is not getting out of this divorce scot-free. free like maybe she thought she could have. I think Erika has to pay the price. Also, I want to add, after watching the documentary, I think that Erika's hands are definitely dirty. They're definitely wet. I think Erika was manipulating the master manipulator that was Tom, who was manipulating all of these victims who he's never paid the settlement. So I think that Erika is getting, karma. I think karma is coming for her. I think she's in trouble. And we also saw on the teaser of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills that Erika is finally breaking down and crying, sobbing for next week's episode, because this is all coming down on her right now. Her life has changed. I don't know if she's going to lose all of her money. She was just spotted on a private jet last week. And the whole Ice Queen, did you see her Instagram post where she was like, the Ice Queen can take it or something?
Yeah, we're going to get into that. Before we do, I just want to kind of reiterate your point that even if she didn't know, Tom is being accused of transferring $20 million into Erika's various businesses before being forced into involuntary bankruptcy a couple months ago. So like you said, her name's all over documents, $20 million from Tom straight into Erika's businesses. It just does not look good. And like you said, when the news hit, she posted this photo on Instagram that is just so cringe. I can't even stand it. It's a GIF that reads, "The Ice Queen can take it," with a caption of a frozen emoji. Zach, what is she thinking posting this?
Maybe she's really not scared, or maybe she just doesn't want the public to think she's scared. I don't know if this is like her ploy to make her seem innocent, or that she's just putting up this tough front to hide what's really going on underneath. I know we're going to learn a lot more about this on The Real Hills this upcoming season. It's not looking good for Erika, and I don't really support her anymore after everything that's kind of come out and after watching the documentary.
Yeah, and I think that this is a lot of people's issue with Erika in this moment. I know this is my issue with Erika because I was a really big Erika Jayne fan. She was my favorite for a long time. And we can sit here and speculate all day long on whether she knew anything, whether she was involved, whether she knew nothing. I don't know that for a fact, right? But what I do know is that she knows now that this money that she has built this lavish lifestyle off of is fraudulent, and it should be going to plane crash victims, burn victims, orphans, and widows. And you're posting things like, "The Ice Queen can take it." It just feels so gross to me. And she's posting, these sexy lingerie photo shoots and just acting like she doesn't have a care in the world. And to me, it's extremely disrespectful to the people that you personally owe millions of dollars to, for her to walk around on Instagram and act like, her doesn't stink.
Yeah, Erika is in for trouble, but I feel like Erika, she also does have her own money. Like, as she mentioned on the show, she has her book, she was on Broadway, she does a lot of shoe collaborations. So I don't know how much money she has of her own. I don't know if that's going to go to the lawyer fees that now she's going to have to take care of because she doesn't have Tom supporting her anymore. But either way, I mean, Tom is probably going to go to jail or to some type of facility. I believe he might have dementia. He's in his 80s, so I don't know if he can go to a normal prison like everyone else. I don't know. But Erika might go to jail too, and it really is only a matter of time. And I actually don't think that she will be able to join Housewives next season if this all keeps going the way it's going. She's going to have to live a little bit more of a private lifestyle, or maybe she can kind of open up all doors and become the star of the show, kind of like Teresa. But I don't know if this is going to slide, because this is way worse than what Teresa did.
Yeah. And, they did make it a point in the last episode for her to kind of say, "I'm a New York Times bestseller and I'm on Broadway and I have a shoe collection." But at the end of the day, she would have none of that if she hadn't been living off these victim settlement funds for the past 20 years. She would not be who she is today without Tom Girardi funding her lifestyle for the past 20 years. So it's like, yes, Erika, you now have all of this money, but you would not have had it had the victims gotten their settlements to begin with. So that's my piece. I'm done talking about Erika Jayne. It's going to make me upset if I continue to talk about it.
The trophy wife has lost her trophy.
Ain't that the truth? But we do have some other things to look forward to, Zach. A new season of The Real Housewives of Potomac. Very excited that a new season of Potomac is happening on Sunday. All the ladies are coming back with the exception of Monique Samuels. And we do have one new housewife to get to know, but the cast this season is Karen Huger, Giselle Bryant, Ashley Darby, Robin Dixon, Candace Dillard, Wendy Osefo, and newbie Mia Thornton. Zach, before we get into all the drama that's going to spill over this season, I want to know your favorite and your least favorite from The Real Housewives of Potomac.
Ooh, that's a good question. Before I started watching Potomac, I thought that Candace was going to be my favorite. I don't know why. I just thought that I would gravitate towards her. And then after watching last season, I was like, Candace, you are my least favorite. Like, you are so obnoxious and annoying. You do not know when to shut up. You never take accountability. You're always playing victim. Candace irks me, but I will be going into this season with a clean slate. I like to start every housewife season, like a new one, just giving everyone kind of a fair chance with like a little prejudgment from the previous season. So that's how I feel about Candace being my least favorite, but my most favorite has actually become Robin Dixon. It originally was Karen Huger because I love her personality, but after watching last season, especially towards the end, I really started to fall in love with Robin. I think she's so genuine and chill. I know she's not as crazy or interesting as some of the other housewives, but there's just something really pure about Robin, and I think she's a really good person. So Robin has actually become my favorite.
I agree with you on the Candace front. Candace is actually my least favorite housewife of all the franchises of all time. Yes, I cannot stand her. But my favorite, I do love Karen. I can't lie. And I love Ashley Darby. She is a mess, but she owns it. And she's always got so much tea going on in her life with Michael Darby. And, now she's got 2 kids. But let's take a sneak peek at some of the drama we can expect this season.
You are tired. You can't give me 100%.
Are you happy? Are you fulfilled?
No.
So when are we going to talk about the Eddie rumors?
What Eddie rumors? What you're not going to do is you're not going to play with my husband's name.
Everyone knows. That's why we went to Sing Sing.
Sing Sing.
Oof.
Truly, what is Sing Sing? I'm not sure. But, Zach, we try to keep up with this stuff while it's not airing. So I did see a lot of headlines about the Eddie rumors. However, I personally tried to stay away from reading them because I didn't want to be super spoiled. Did you hear anything about the Eddie rumors? Can you give us some more info on the tea?
Yeah, well, I mean, Giselle is the one who always has the tea. She's always starting a rumor that someone's husband is cheating every single season. And apparently Eddie may or may not have cheated on Wendy. Obviously, from that teaser, it looks like they are going through some marital struggles, which is really upsetting because Wendy was the new housewife last year, and we really got to learn a lot about their culture and, how their families didn't necessarily approve of their marriage. So I'm really upset because I liked Wendy. She grew on me a lot last season. So I'm upset for her if she's struggling in her marriage. And of course, Giselle is stirring the pot. That's what Giselle does best. That's the only thing Giselle knows how to do, is to get involved in everyone else's marriage because she cannot figure out her own.
Ooh, that is true. And we did see a little bit of that in the full length trailer that Giselle and Jamal are going through issues. So maybe she's trying to, shift the attention onto Wendy. And it seems like a lot of that is going between Wendy and Giselle, the drama. Let's take another look at some more things we're going to see.
I see you for everything everybody ever said that you were.
I don't give a
These mother cameras. I will light your ass up.
Enough drama.
Typical Giselle to stir the pot and then to just kick back, relax, and slurp. It looks like a mojito. I don't know. So we do know that Wendy and Giselle are going to be going at it. It seemed from that Mia and Candace were going to have a little bit of drama. Obviously, time will tell. But Zach, what are you looking forward to most in this next season of The Real Housewives of Potomac?
Well, I love that Candace was throwing salad at Mia, a whole salad fight. That looks super interesting and fun. We've never really seen people throw salad. I know on The Real Houses of New York City, we've seen a tortellini be thrown, and obviously we've seen wine glasses being thrown too. But, a fight between salad, the Potomac never disappoints. It's honestly one of the best franchises. It's become one of the most popular franchises. There is this kind of tagline that Bravo is saying, don't sleep on Potomac, and it could not be more true. this will be a jam-packed season. I am looking forward to seeing Karen Yuger. She is going to be renewing her vows with her husband, Ray. So that will be a super fun moment. And I'm also interested if Robin and Juan are still planning their wedding. Didn't they get engaged on the finale last season?
They did. And then a bit in that trailer, we see that they're having some issues too. So only time will tell. I will say I love the wholeness of this cast. I think they're really, really good together. Obviously, it's going to be different without Monique this year, but I feel like everybody truly does bring something different and they're not too cliquey. Of course, we have the Green Eyed Bandits, Robin and Giselle, which is a major clique. But I feel like they all just bring something so unique to the show. You know, you have Ashley, who's just the wild card. You have Candace, who, you know, is into her music career, but she's also always causing fights, you know, whether it be a butter knife or throwing salad or wine glasses. She's always into something. And then Giselle just stirring the pot. So I'm just so looking forward to seeing the Real Housewives of Potomac again. It very quickly became one of my favorites. So you guys, if you have not watched it yet, there's only 5 seasons. So binge it before the season premiere on Sunday. That's all we have for you this week on your weekly Bravo recap. Like I said before, if you're new here, make sure to ring the bell and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out on any Bravo tea. You know, we have it all for you. And also say hi to Zach and I on our social media handles. They're on the screen right now. And let us know in the comments. There's so much to discuss. Team Crystal, Team Sutton, Team Ebony, Team Ramona. Are you ready for Potomac? And would you be absolutely devastated if the Toms broke up? Zach, I can't even talk about it anymore because that would just truly break my heart. So we're going to leave it at that. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.